Alright guys, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed my previous episode. If you haven't had a chance to watch it yet, then there's a link somewhere up on the screen for you to have a watch through. But essentially, if you're new to this channel and you've just started watching, I'm going to be playing through Assassin's Creed Odyssey and just talking through different Greek concepts. Last episode we was just discussing like the background of the Peloponnesian War through the beginning of the Persian War, and I basically finished by saying I wanted to look at how Athens rose to power so quickly, and essentially how she does that is through the development of her own empire, through the development of the Athenian Empire, where Athens spends 50 years after the end of the Persian War building up her resources, her tributes, her fleet, her navy. So much so, she becomes a real threat for Sparta. The war kicks off because essentially Athens attacks an ally of Sparta, and boom, there we go. Sparta's not happy, but there's loads of reasons really. But I am loading this. No. Oh, I didn't save. Okay, well, that was embarrassing. I don't think I saved the first time I played through, so just had to run through everything quickly again. But that's alright, didn't take that long. Okay, so Athens, the Athenian Empire, how did it get to be so big, so powerful, and how did it get to pose such a threat to Sparta? Well, essentially we have a league formed during the Persian Wars called the Athenian League. Now, the Athenian League, or some people call it the Athenian League, so bear that in mind, was an alliance of... Oh, didn't like the sound of that. Can I do that thing? Where it just... Yeah. Was an alliance of Greek city-states led by Athens, formed in 478 BC. And it was basically formed to liberate the Greek cities that had fallen under Persian rules and defend against Persia, any revenge attacks for Persia's defeat at Marathon. And there are different records for how many member states they had, but on average there might have been about 300 to 330 different cities as part of the Athenian League. And over time the Athenian League, it forms itself into the Athenian Empire because Athens leads it. Athens becomes more and more aggressive in how it controls its states, what it demands from its tributes in terms of money, and how it punishes its tributes for not paying up. But basically, yeah, after this, the Athenian League becomes the Athenian Empire, and Athens finds herself in a position to threaten Sparta.
Let me go!
Shut it, or I'll tighten those ropes.
She'll make good
Ouch.
ransom drachmi for the Cyclops.
No one's gonna buy me from you. They're all poor.
But okay, so obviously it sounds like the Athenian League was set up perfectly for Athens to take control of so many states. Ooh.
This tall grass will keep me.
But the original purpose of the league has definitely been transformed in history, because its intentions and organization, it wasn't meant as an instrument of Athens' power or anything. It was created, the Athenian League was basically created as defense against Persia, as an instrument for war, for naval warfare.
Who did that?
Come on, buddy. So, oh crap. Okay. So, last time we basically ended by exploring the defeat of Leonidas at Thermopylae, but obviously we know that the Persian force was defeated. And it was defeated in 479 at the Battle of Plataea. And after this battle, the Greek states, they enter a period of about 50 years where Athens really thrives. So Thucydides, who tends to be, or is even our main source of the Peloponnesian War, he refers to this period as the Pentacontasia. I definitely pronounced that wrong. I'm going to put the spelling up so you can have a go at it yourself. But it's basically just 50 years where Athens thrives after the Persian Wars, after the Battle of Plataea, and we get the rise of Athenian democracy. We enter a period, a golden age of Athens.
That Marcos is going to be next.
Oh, who's Marcos, my boy? Okay, so
Time to get Phoebe out of here. Cassandra, I'm here.
obviously Sparta and Athens were both part of the Persian Wars, right? But at the defeat of the Persians, or after the defeat of the Persians, and after the Persians basically leave Europe, Sparta is eager to end its war. Sparta is eager to return back to Sparta, basically. So the king, what's his name? King Leotides, Tychides, I'm definitely pronouncing these wrong, wants to return home because he feels like the purpose of the league, of this alliance, has been achieved, right? But we have to remember that for many of the Greeks, oh, we've got a little cutscene, so maybe I shouldn't talk through this. Okay, I'll come back to this. But yes, for many of the Greeks, the Persian threat's still real. They're not really treated so badly, and they're still scared, particularly the smaller states who don't have the might of Athens or Sparta. Look at this guy. Why have you got greaves on, you idiot?
Again, up.
Yes, Pater.
Spartan rises as soon as they have fallen. Ready your staff. Widen your stance. A soldier grounds themselves. Good. Good. Approach me.
That's enough, Nikolaos. The sun's going down. Time to eat, don't you think?
What are we eating tonight?
Tonight we are having baby Alexios. And what a feast he will be.
No, not him. Take me instead. I'm tasty.
Yes, yes, you're all sweet as honey. Now, come inside. The lamb's turning black.
Here. Lay him in his bed.
Yes, Pater.
Kassandra. You are my greatest pride. Remember that. You will bring this family to glory. Go.
Okay, super emotional scene. But as I was saying, a lot of the Greek states, they don't really know that the Persian threat has ended, and it hasn't really. And it doesn't end until the Battle of Eurymedon in 469.
What they say?
But for the Spartans, they're done. right? And they had their own league, the Peloponnesian League, to get back to and worry about. But also for the Persians,
Am I ever not in
there's
trouble?
also
Better
maybe
get him
a
before he
sense of
gets you.
like
I hear he's
insecurity
really
and
mean.
instability among the Spartan kings in leaving
I'll find my way back
Sparta
to town.
undefended
Get
for
it?
so long because of a threat of a Helot uprising.
Talos the stone fist.
Oh man.
That's just what I need today. Another broken nose. I'm going to have to take care of that.
Oh, I can't call my horse here. I'm gonna kick this guy off a cliff. Look at him. Does he have anything good? Yeah, so Helot uprising always threatens the Spartans, and the Helots are basically like a serving class for the Spartans. So how the Spartan society was run was that basically every citizen was a soldier, and by citizen I mean a male with property or able to buy property. So they were warriors, and because they were all warriors, they weren't doing like chores and stuff. So Sparta had a bunch of slaves called helots. Now, in 464, Sparta is hit with an earthquake, and it encourages a helot uprising. You know, because the helot slave population see this as a great excuse to revolt. I'm lost. Why did I go that way? Do I have to get off my horse? Surely not. Nah. Let's dismount here. Yeah. So they see it as an excuse to revolt. So, I mean, this is quelled, and actually, interestingly, Athens sends like 4,000 hoplite soldiers to help, who are rejected, who are turned away. But you know, the threat is very serious for the Spartans. So this probably plays on the king's mind during the final sort of Persian war battles. He doesn't want to stay away for too long, and he doesn't want his army out of Sparta for too long, because Sparta wouldn't be able to protect herself.
Hello, Luris.
But interestingly, like, so obviously I just said that Athens sends a force of 4,000 hoplite soldiers, which are rejected. But I think Sparta are concerned that the Helots might be encouraged to revolt and besiege Sparta again with the I've done that with the help of the Athenians. And it's at this stage I think Sparta starts to recognize Athens as a powerful ally. And I use ally very loosely because there's a lot of tensions between both these states after the Persian Wars ends. Anyway, so the Spartan king's like, yeah, job's done, let's pack up and go home, guys. But the Athenian commander, Xanthippus, he doesn't think the job's done. He doesn't think that the war's purpose has been achieved. Because the Ionian cities that were under Persian rules had once been Athenian colonies, and if no one else is going to protect them, then Athens is going to protect them, right? But it's important that this reply, Athens, oh, let's just beat some stuff up.
Hey, stop! That's my stuff! Alright. I'll pay you, just stop!
That's what I thought, punk. Yeah, so this reply that Athens says, oh, we're not done, is not like, it's basically just a pledge to protect the Ionians. It isn't like a pledge to accept control over the league or anything. But there is a loose alliance of city-states, right? And although it had been basically led by Sparta at the time, Sparta withdraws, goes back home, and a meeting is called in Delos to institute a new alliance to defend against the Persians. And that's where we get the Athenian League, because Delos is where it was founded. And the aims of this league, according to Thucydides, who is our main historian for the Peloponnesian Wars, like I said, was what's that? To avenge the wrongs they suffered by ravaging the territory of the king. Which sounds fancy, but essentially there's three main efforts. Firstly, to prepare for a future invasion. Secondly, to seek revenge against Persia. And thirdly, to organize a means of dividing the spoils of war. So essentially, I assume that means if you lost more men or you provided more manpower, you should get more spoils. I think that makes sense. So these members then, so Athens takes charge. Athens is the head. Oh, I don't want to speak to her. So Athens is obviously in charge, and the joining members. So we have members such as Byzantium, Lesbos, Naxos, Samos, Paros, which are actually cities we get to visit in the game. Hey guys, do some. It's cookies, check 4.
Forever, Marcos. You, the mercenary, and that little runt girl that hangs around.
Of course, not a problem. I'll get the drachmi.
Okay, so the members then were given a choice, basically either offering their armed forces or paying a tax to the treasury, and most of these states they decided to pay the tax. Now interestingly, league members, they also swore to have the same friends and the same enemies. And so what that meant was every member within the league couldn't really attack another member, right, without facing detriment and war and punishment. Consequences is the word I'm looking for, without facing consequences. And Athens does dole out these consequences. And we get, during this period of 50 years of Athens growing in power and strength, a lot of wars, a lot of enforcing these tributes and peacekeeping. Oh.
Alexios!
Don't see fishes like you every day, huh?
His face. Ugly guy.
You hungry? How about we make a deal? I do something for you. You do a few things for me. Everybody wins. Best offer you're gonna get. Think about it.
Wait!
I don't know, would you trust that guy?
Some gift.
Weirdo.
You were nothing without Marcos. And
so
look
where
how
was I?
far we've come. From an orphan on the streets to a Misthios with a hovel.
Right, yeah,
Now
so
the
league
Cyclops
members
will take
swore that they
everything
wouldn't
away.
fight against each other,
Can't protect you
and they
from
faced
forever.
punishment if they did.
He'll
Cool.
kill me too.
Oh, don't be scared of him.
But
And
this,
look at you.
so this
How
is
could I
the
go up against him?
basic
With
sort
what
of
weapons?
rules of
A
the
rusty
league, right?
spear? A broken bow?
But
There you are.
what happens is Athens was obviously recruiting all of these various Greek city-states to join what she calls the Athenian League. And the growth of Athenian power through the league was basically centered on growing her navy, because Athens at this time is the most powerful naval state amongst the Greeks. So they want to build up their navy, they want to rebuild their walls that have been taken down and destroyed during the Persian Wars. And interestingly, they spend a lot of time developing something called the Long Walls between Athens and the port of Attica, called the Piraeus. And this causes a bit of political tension with Sparta, because these walls make it hard for a land-based attack, right? A land-based siege. So on the face of it, yeah, Athens is just building up her walls and defenses against the Persians, but actually she's also building up her defenses against the Spartans. And there's an aggressive push to extend Athens' influence across the Aegean, really. And with this growth in the navy, you can see here that the transport routes start to really develop. And as Athens travels, oh yeah, I'm supposed to follow this girl, I forgot, I lost her. Is it this way? Oh, yeah, so as Athens travels, she's spreading, like, obviously her power, her ships, loads of propaganda, and spending her coins. And I think an interesting thing about coins, like then and even now, is like the messages that they portray. So for example, looking at this coin here, if you imagine, like, this would have been easily circulated amongst pockets and bags, and everybody's seeing this image of an owl and relating it back to Athens. So everywhere you go outside of Athens, as Athens is trading with you, you're seeing Athens even when they leave. So Athens is increasing her influence everywhere. That was quick. And you can see also here the Athenian League states again, right? What are those? Okay, what do I want? You know what, I'm gonna do this because I'm gonna kick Talos off a cliff when he finds me, or when I find him. What level am I? Oh, level 2. That's a bummer because I want to wear some of that armor.
Fair is fair.
Okay, so Athens is traveling all over the place
Fucking bandits need a thrashing.
and influencing all of these places, spreading her influence. Now, I think most interestingly, in 461, the current Athenian leader, Kimon, he's ostracized. And basically when you're ostracized, you're just voted out. So people wrote like the name of someone that they wanted kicked out of Athens on a piece of ostraka, which was like a piece of broken vase, right, which was everywhere because Athens was sending so many things out. Where did I go? I just talked right through that. Oops. Yeah, so Kimon is kicked out. He's ostracized for 10 years. And essentially this is set up as a basis for democracy to ensure that like no one person can build up too much power. So I think it's every year, someone is voted out of the council, essentially. Yeah, so Kilmon is Australis, and in his place we get Pericles. Now, Pericles really expands the foreign policy, and Pericles coming in charge really signals a complete change in Athenian foreign policy and Athenian growth. And they call like this period of time like the Golden Age of Athens. They also call it the Periclean Age, because what he decides to do is essentially he neglects any alliance with Sparta first of all, and he forms an alliance with, can I show you on this map, he forms an alliance with Argos and Thessaly. Is Argos in this game? Can I thought it was. Okay, so I think the Piraeus is somewhere down here. Okay, Argos here. And I'm sure Thessaly is somewhere here. Maybe not. But anyway, so like I was saying, Lesbos, Chios, Paros and Naxos, all part of the Athenian League at the time. Yeah, so Attica, Athens is somewhere here. Yeah, and there's the Piraeus. Okay, so yeah, so there's a massive, so Pericles, I think it's Pericles, he starts building a wall between these two places to defend against any land attacks and protect the port. Basically making it effectively invulnerable to any attacks by land. Oh, sorry, so it wasn't Pericles, but a decade earlier then, under the encouragement by Themistocles, who's like a politician, they construct the long walls. Okay, cool. But with Pericles there's a movement of the treasury, the Athenian League treasury, from Delos to Athens, allegedly to keep it safe, but probably not, probably a bit more political than that. The work of bandits. And also Athens stops accepting ships from her tributes and only starts to accept money, and with this money Pericles can then, what am I even looking for? Pericles can start to ship the west of the lumberyard. Are they there? No, is it them? Yeah, so Pericles starts to improve Athens, spends a lot of money building things, particularly the Parthenon, which we'll get to and we can explore a bit later once we're in Athens. I need to... Who am I looking for? I'm aware that I'm being hunted down. Which way is west? That way. Oh, okay. Just a dumbass. They are here.
That must be the bandit camp I'm looking for.
Wolves. Yeah, so Pericles is building up the image of Athens, spending all the money that she's getting through tributes to improve the navy to improve the overall image and look of Athens and make it a real contender. Oh crap. I thought wolves attack in packs, so where's the other one? Oh, damn. Nice. Oh. Is there still more? Who are you? Oh crap. I need to leg it, I'm gonna die. Don't I heal? Do I need to get out of this fight first? Okay, cool. So much for an assassin.
Archers got this one. Let's make sure they don't get us.
Better take some lumber
Nice.
back as proof. That old bag won't just take my word for it.
Oh, that was disappointing. I thought I would jump off here.
I need to stay hidden.
No, you're good. As it turns out, I can't play and fight at the same time. Play and fight? Talk and play at the same time. Just not smart enough. But, as I was saying, Pericles comes to power and really changes Athenian foreign policy. Starts to take money from tributes rather than navy, rather than accepting a fleet, for example, and reinvest this money back into Athens. Now, that's basically it, really, in terms of how the Athenian League goes from a collection of states with the intention of defending Greece from the Persians into what we can now consider the Athenian Empire. Is this what I was after? Yeah. So yeah, by 5-4, what? 4-5-4 even, 4-5-4 BC, good job Icarus. The Athenian League can now basically be considered the Athenian Empire, and the key marker of this was the movement of the league, the treasury, from Delos to Athens. It was the development of the long walls and the reinvestment of all of the money back into Athens. building up things like the Parthenon, replacing old temples, and really turning Athens into an empire. That goat just charged at me. And so Thucydides, he says, during this period, why, oh, come on. Why this war was inevitable. And he says that their supremacy, so Athenian supremacy, grew during the interval between the Persian Wars and the Peloponnesian Wars through their military and political actions against the barbarians, so the Persians, against their own allies in revolt. So we see later on that Naxos and Thasos revolt, and those revolutions are quelled immediately and quite harshly. And against the Peloponnesians, whom they encountered on various occasions. So the Peloponnesians would be essentially the Spartan alliance. Let's see here. Because that's basically it for now. But something I forgot to talk about actually was, let's try and find a map. The silver mines, which I'm not sure where they are. I thought they were like up here somewhere. But yeah, Athens also owns a silver mine, which is where they get a lot of money from to fund their naval expansion. But you can see, like, even just on this map, like so many, this map and this map here, how many states are part of the Athenian Empire and how much money Athens is getting, how many ships Athens is receiving from these states. And obviously they're growing in more and more strength, more and more power. And there comes a time, obviously, where they're a real threat to Sparta. And I think the Peloponnesian Wars kicks off because Sparta is scared of Athenian strength. But also Athens is quite aggressive in its expansion, and after essentially something called the Megarian Decree, I think we start to see like the beginning of the war, which is where we find ourselves now. So that's basically it. I appreciate that that's a bit jumbled, but essentially we have the end of the Persian Wars, the Spartans retreat, well, not really retreat, but go home thinking that the job's done, and Athens is put in charge as a hegemonic state. And these states form the Delian League, which Athens is in charge of, and over time Athens starts to demand more and more tributes, more money, more ships to build up her navy, build up her walls. And really with Pericles coming into power, that's where everything just kicks off a lot faster. More expansion projects, more regeneration projects, really just projecting Athens as this state of power and safety and wealth. And when we get to Athens, we can see even in the game, it looks really good. I want to try and find... Oh crap. Somewhere high to end off. That's not high. Oh, I was supposed to... Okay, let me actually return to that girl. Ooh. Let me return to her and then end this wonderful episode. But yeah, that's really it. There's not too much more else that happens, like amazing or whatever. Just a period of 50 years where Athens enters a golden age, gets a lot of money, enforces her power over these Delian League states, and really just turns the Delian League into the Athenian Empire. And then this is a problem for Sparta, just in terms of pride and strength and fear.
It's Marcus'
And then
assistant
there are
bringing me the
political
wood I
reasons
need, I
and
hope.
war reasons why
Assistant.
we're launched into the Peloponnesian Wars.
I meant Marco's muscle. How stupid of me.
This will tide you over until the rest of the wood arrives in town.
By the gods! You sure you work with Marcos? He's never once delivered on a promise. Incredible.
I might work with him, but we're nothing alike. I'm true to my word.
Then take your
We'll see,
pay.
mate.
Give none to Marcos.
130 drachmi. You're too kind. Right, I think I'm going to end it here. Thank you once again for tuning in and listening. This kind of history, I don't know, it's a bit boring for me. There's not really too much to say I appreciate about how Athens comes to power. But I hope it makes a bit of sense. I hope you're able to follow at least. And obviously if you've got any questions or any comments, I'll be happy to take them and answer as best I can. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about next time. I guess I'll just play on for a bit and see what comes up. Maybe I'll talk about some of the priests and do that. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please do leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.